Welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you.
I think your plane just landed about 10 minutes ago, didn't it?
Yeah, the plane was delayed, so here I am, still made it.
You're a relative newcomer to Ibiza as well. When did you first come here?
I think my first time Ibiza was, it wasn't as a DJ. I just, I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago. And I just came to visit the island with some friends. And I think I went to DC-10, that was my first club. And just went to some of the beaches and just chilled, really.
Okay. Well, it's been an incredible couple of years for you. I wanted to go back kind of 10 years and find out what Charlotte was doing when she was 16 in Belgium and how you got into this world.
Yeah, young Charlotte. Yeah, I think I changed schools and I started going to a school in Ghent, which is my hometown as well. And I discovered nightlife culture there. And at that time, it was the electro scene that was starting to boom. It was, think of the Bloody Beetroots, Crookers, Mastercraft. And so I started to discover that kind of music in the club scene. And I just fell in love with it, and I wanted to do something more with it without necessarily thinking that I wanted to be a DJ. I just liked the music a lot, and I started making mixtapes, initially just for myself to listen to when I was going to school, sitting on a train, wherever, just to enjoy my favorite tracks in one continuous mix. And at some point, I put those online, and I think that was the very, very start 10 years ago.
You end up winning we got one thing in common. We both won a DJ competition. I did when I was very young. That kind of was a bit of a life-changing moment. Tell us what happened there.
Yeah, so Studio Brussel, the radio station from Belgium, quite a big one. They started a competition together with Tomorrowland in 2011. And basically you had the chance to submit a 1-hour mixtape, and they chose 3 finalists who got to play a 30-minute live set on air, and then the judges just chose a winner, and that was I was fortunate enough to win that one, and that basically made me a Studio Brussels resident, and also it gave me the opportunity to play at Tomorrowland, and it was the main stage, so very tricky for the type of music that I was playing. But that was definitely my breakthrough, yeah, because it put my name out there. And ever since that moment, other festivals like I Love Techno started showing interest in me, Pukkelpop. So all the Belgian market was more open than it used to be.
You're doing all this in a very kind of male-dominated world. The kind of elephant in the room that we haven't mentioned yet is you didn't start with your own name. You felt you had to use another name that kind of hid the fact that you were a young girl. Yeah,
exactly. Well, it's exactly how you put it. I was young and I was a girl, but I was most definitely very, very young. And I started when I was 17, but I had no idea that that would be my job eventually. So I guess I didn't feel secure enough to show my real identity. And so picking an alter ego that's male, Raving George, was just much more comfortable at that time. And, well, yeah, obviously, like a lot of people coming to my shows, they didn't expect to see a young girl DJing. They expected, I don't know, like an old, fat guy, I don't even know. But people were often quite surprised. And I think it just made me feel slightly more comfortable in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Great name. Who came up with that?
Well, I did just very, very randomly. When in the beginning, when I was looking for names for my mixtape, because I used to name all of my mixtapes as well, and I just got inspired by random words that I found on the street, on notes, on permanent markers, just everywhere. And when I had to pick a DJ name, I was like, Raving George, sure, why not? So, yeah.
Your dad works in the music business, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. He did.
He did. And did he? Was he an influence on? I believe he tried to influence the music you were playing.
Not really. But there was just always music playing at our house, but not necessarily electronic music. Just it was EMIs. There was guys like U2, Coldplay. There was just always music on. So I think that did contribute to my love for music. But yeah, I think he didn't really had an idea of what I was doing, because at one time he came home with an LP of David Guetta, like it wasn't my first vinyls, and he was just very proud, and he gave it to me. He said like, here, now you can play it in the club. I was like, yeah, thanks, Dad, but it's not quite the music I play, but thank you. So yeah, that was that. Just being very supportive, but I think now he knows what I'm doing.
Exactly. Yeah, I think they're big supporters. You've been bringing them to gigs and everything.
Oh yeah. They'll be there again at Tomorrowland this year.
That's good.
It's awesome.
So when did it started off with a love of kind of underground electro? When did the bright light go on about the world of techno? Who was yours kind of early influences? Did you have a mentor back then? Was there a record that kind of changed the game?
Yeah, Len Faki, the Dust and Zan, Stranger to Stability, the podium mix. When I heard that one, because it's obviously it's a techno tune, but it has like a very strong aggressive synth in there as well. So that's sort of the electro vibe going into techno for me. And also in general, I just feel that the electro scene at some point was just dying. And, well, in my opinion, people either went to the more electro-techno side of things and eventually going into techno, which was me, but a lot of other people went into electro house, which evolved into EDM. I mean, that's how I look back at what happened then. So, yeah, I think I was already DJing for about 4 years or something. Still DJing as Raving George. So I was already playing techno as Raving George as well. I already made that change.
Back then, this kind of prejudice against your being a young girl in the industry, did you, in a very kind of male-dominated world, particularly in the world of techno, did you have the haters on Facebook? Did you have challenges? Tell us about.
Yeah, no, a lot of it in the beginning. And I think, well, in a way, I do understand that it's tricky to see for other DJ colleagues that I got a lot of opportunities because I won that contest, and then other Belgian festivals also showed interest and a lot of Belgian clubs. And I get that it's hard to see that others get, opportunities.
Jealous almost.
Yeah.
So it's more. Was it more jealous because you were getting the opportunities so young, or because you were a girl, or because or were they actually saying you couldn't?
It's probably going to be both. I mean, at some point when I won that contest, they just wrote on Facebook that I won the contest because I had boobs, because I slept with everyone in the scene, and it's completely ridiculous. But reading all of that when you're 17 years old is hard. It's not nice, and there were hate groups against me on Facebook, often, founded by people who I thought were my friends. It was just, in general, it was a big eye-opener, and it was a bit shitty in the beginning, but I mean...
How did you work through it? How did you...
Well...
kind of chipping away and getting people's respect eventually?
Yeah, I think so. I think I really had to show, especially to Belgium, that I was one of the guys. So not... Yeah, it's very double and contradictory, but... yeah, I had to earn my place. But that's not necessarily unfair. What makes it unfair is that I had to earn my place because I was a woman. And I had to show that I'm doing this, not because I need attention as a woman, but because I'm doing it for the love of the music. I mean, why else would I be doing this, right? So that was the shitty part.
Probably one of the key places where you got to prove yourself was the legendary Fuse Club. Tell us about Fuse and what it's like and what it meant to you, what you learned. And you're still there, right? You're still running your parties there.
Still running my party there, Context. Fuse, legendary Belgian nightclub, has been around for 25 years this year. So it's quite an institute. I think 6 years, I played there 6 years ago for the very first time, but then 5 years ago almost, they asked me if I wanted to host my own concept there. And I think if such a big institution as Fuse, that has like a lot of, had a lot of famous DJs around and are still very respected throughout the techno scene. If they show support to you and they give you your concept, it does mean a lot. And yeah, it was pretty cool that they did it. So it's still very important, and it taught me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we talked earlier at IMS this week about clubs like Fuse, unfortunately, in other cities that have had a huge influence on kind of artist development, having to close. And they can't compete with the kind of big festivals. I mean, it's been amazing that Fuse sitting in a market that is absolutely like, there's festivals every weekend between Holland, Belgium. How do they do it?
Yeah, I think because they're around for 25 years, they have a very strong position in Belgium. But yeah, they're closed during the summer as well. So when all the festivals are happening, the clubs are closed in Belgium. So I think they are struggling as well a little. But I mean, it's still and it always will be few. So a lot of DJs still want to play there, and it's just the image of well and the history of that club that makes it such an important place. And well, I hope they're going to be around for a very long time.
So let's go back to Raving George. There came a point where you killed him off.
Yeah.
What?
Rest in peace.
Let's talk a bit about that. You know, the day you woke up and decided to do that. What gave you the confidence to make the switch?
Yeah. So well, obviously, as the years were passing by, I did feel that Raving George was a bit of a ridiculous name, and I hadn't really thought things through when I picked that name. So I don't know. I think that I just, like you said, I just woke up, and I mean, this is my life now. This is my job. This is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. This is my passion. So why would I? And I feel very secure now. Like I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go. So why would I still hide behind an alter ego that I picked so many years ago? Because I was feeling insecure at that point. So I just decided to change, which turned out very well because I was a bit scared for that.
Where was your coming out party?
I don't really know. I don't even remember the first party I did as Charlotte Witte. But obviously, like the first parties was Charlotte Witte, then between bracket Raving George. But transitioning went very well.
So, very much the last 2 years since you've done that, life's just you're on this crazy ride, traveling all over the world. I was asking you backstage. Have you found places in the world where your kind of popularity or your name has kind of preceded people actually understanding what you do? Have you gone to places and started playing like you always play, and people, oh God, I didn't realize you were not only.
Yeah.
Have you had to tone it down?
Well, I try not to compromise too much, and for certain places or venues where I'm playing, where I know that the people might expect a slightly softer sound, like the main stage of Tomorrowland that I did last year. So I try to adapt my set a little bit. But to answer your question, that actually happened more when I was playing as Raving George, because I made this track with Oscar and the Wolf from Belgium, and it was an electronic track, but not necessarily electro or techno. And it got huge in Turkey for some reason, and so yeah, I got booked a lot in Turkey, and they just expected the sounds of that track, but they didn't have a clue that I was playing techno. So yeah, that was often very surprising for them. But that doesn't happen that often anymore. I think by now the people kind of know what to expect.
You've circled the world at least once or twice. Favorite markets already in terms of on your travels?
Europe is amazing because it's very easy to travel, and you have so many areas to cover. It's a very interesting place to live in as well. But I like South America because they have a lot of energy there. They just have this fire burning, and it's always an amazing crowd there. But yeah, I mean, it's all pretty amazing, right? If the world is your oyster.
Yeah. What about America, where I live, where you seem to be? It's not that techno came from America, obviously, and you're going to Detroit this weekend to go back to movement. But I think your popularity and some of your colleagues, it's taking techno into a kind of much more main stage situation. How have you found the reception in America, in particular when you went to Coachella?
Well, it is changing a lot. I feel. I think I started traveling to US three years ago, maybe, something like that. And you do see very well that the scene there is growing a lot, and it's changing a lot. So yeah, I mean, it's just really cool, but it's, exactly, they have more of this main stage mentality about techno music rather than, they don't have the how do I put this? They don't have they're not used to techno music like we have in Europe, being in just clubs and this more underground vibe to it. I mean, they had that before, I think, but they lost it for a while. So yeah, it is more challenging to play techno in US, but it's fun, and it's cool to see that it's growing as well, and also the understanding about underground music. So that's nice.
How was Coachella? Was it, because it takes a great Instagram photo? What were you expecting, or was it what you were expecting?
Well, the first weekend was really nice actually, and the vibe in the tent was really cool as well. It was also the tent was completely covered, so it was pitch black inside. So that was cool. So you couldn't see like the beautiful surroundings and the sunshine. So for techno music, that was nice. I mean, it made sense. So in a way, it was better than I expected, actually. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Now, another big theme of the IMS over the last couple of years has been health and wellness and mental health, and there's been a lot of people a lot older than you sitting up here telling people what we should and shouldn't we be doing. But for someone that's actually in it, who you're the one really that we're most concerned about, what are you feeling about that subject, and how do you deal with it so far, and how aware of it are you anyway? I mean, and again, you're in a very kind of macho-driven world, particularly in techno, where it's like harder, faster, better, longer, later, all that stuff that goes with it. It seems to kind of enhance your reputation, but isn't particularly healthy. How are you dealing with all that?
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to figure that out completely. Yeah, but it is a bit tricky. I mean, I've been touring now for 2.5 years this intensely. And the first 2 years, I just did it all by myself. So I traveled the world all by myself. I went everywhere alone, and I never really felt lonely. But looking back at it, that was just very heavy, obviously like physically, but also mentally. So now I'm touring with someone that makes it easier as well. And I think, I don't know, it sounds super cheesy, but you have to try and listen to your body. But I think the sad thing is that you only know if you've gone too far when you crash. So.
Have you had those moments?
I had one gig that I had to cancel, and it was around Christmas, and it was because I was all over the place and touring by myself, and I was and then going from a country back to Belgium for a day, then back to another country, back in Belgium for a day, and it was just also around Christmas. I just wanted to be with my family, and I think that point was where I probably felt super lonely, and I couldn't handle sleeping 2 hours again and catching 3 flights and just being away from home again. So that was a tiny little crash that I had. But no, besides that, I think I have also a very strong body. So I'm good when I don't need that much sleep. I do function quite well if I don't sleep that much. But yeah, I mean, it is challenging, definitely. It's a very intense life, and it's tricky, yeah, definitely.
I've met all your team. You seem to have a good crew around you now. And how much debate is there amongst you in terms of the travel planning now and the recovery time and looking at that 4 a.m. set and then that kind of 8 a.m. flight?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's just not much you can do about it. You don't have that much flight a day. I mean, you have to make it work. So yeah, but we are talking very openly about that, and I mean, yeah, they keep on telling me that I don't have to accept that many gigs, but it's just something that I really love doing as well. So it's really hard to say no. Even if I had one, I was on holiday in January for an entire month, and I got back and I was like, well, I'm never going on holiday again. This is really boring. Like, what am I doing? I'm not playing. I forgot how to DJ. It was very strange. So
that's when you had a holiday.
That's when I had a holiday. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's the thing. I just love it so very much. And if I wouldn't keep on doing this, because it is very demanding of your body, and you never see family, you never see friends, so you have to completely and utterly love it, and that's what I do.
What do you do when you do switch off, when you come back home? Not go to clubs, I presume.
No, not going to clubs. Yeah, just trying to catch up with friends. But I have a really difficult time with switching off completely. Like, it's been I don't really know how to just sit on the couch and watch Netflix. But yeah, just visit my mom, visit some friends, go to the spa. I have a new massage place close to where I live, so I'm a regular customer there.
Let's get on to our other favourite subject this week. I was telling you, because your plane was delayed, but I was going to show you the IMS report I mentioned. and it's the staggering growth of the impact that you in particular have had, Nina Kravitz, Amelie, Peggy Gou, in terms of social media. Tell us your kind of, your attitude, the way you interact with social media, how important it's been for you. You're aware of the pros and cons.
Yeah, my social media strategy.
I mean, you've kind of grown. I think that collection of acts that I've just mentioned, artists, have kind of hit at a time when the kind of the impact and zeitgeist around Instagram in particular, just like Twitter went backwards and Instagram exploded. So you were there at the kind of cusp of it. So
I think fans nowadays they like to see other stuff about the artist as well, and that's also something that I want to show. Like, I don't want to be their DJ superstar. I'm just a human being like anyone else. So I'm okay with sharing more personal stuff, more lifestyle stuff, life on the road, food, just like life at hotels. So I think it makes you more human in a way, and it's just the kind of stuff that I think that people enjoy seeing as well. It makes distance less big between you as a person and then the fans, or the other way around.
As you see those followers grow, is it a job in your head now to you get to the like?
Oh yeah.
So you are, is that you thinking to yourself, oh my God, 24 hours has gone past and I haven't posted anything?
I don't like doing it.
You don't?
I don't like doing it, no.
Right.
I don't like, it's just you have to find good content and write a good text, and it's very time consuming. So I don't.
But is it you thinking that you can't, so why don't post one day?
Because, the charts tell you how important that is.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's sort of part of the job. But I don't necessarily like doing it. It's time consuming.
Okay. And are you one of these people that gets knocked off course if you see the negative comments, or?
Sometimes depends on my mood. If I'm tired, then probably yes. It's going to. People say some very hurtful, mean things on social media, but it really depends on my mood. And like on Facebook, I had to moderate and instantly like cut out some very nasty words like ass, cunt, bitch, whore, fuck, stuff like that. So I just moderate that off my page. So the person who sees it, the person who posts it can still see the comment, but it gets hidden off your page, so no one else can see it but that guy or girl and the friends. So, because otherwise, I mean, there's just no point in just reading all of them and then separately deleting them or hiding them. I mean, who has time for that anyway?
The other staggering statistic from the IMS report, when it came to the festival circuit, was how it was the fact that girls had dominated in terms of festival appearances. I think Nina Kravitz had 35 appearances, Amelie had 27. I think then there was Armin van Buuren, and then there was you. Mm-hmm. How has that created a rivalry amongst your kind of that group amongst you?
Well, I never looked at music as being a competition, because it cannot possibly be. Music is something very emotional and subjective, so you cannot possibly rate it. But yeah, so no, I'm cool with that. I mean, I cannot possibly accept more festivals than I already do. I mean, maybe I could, but.
Are you being placed apart, or you often find yourself together on the same lineups?
That really depends. Like, I play with Nina sometimes, and I mean, we all play techno. So I mean, when there's a festival happening like Time Warp, all of us is going. We're all going to be there. Same with Awakening. So I mean, it really depends on, yeah.
We were just joking side stage with this She Said So panel that next year there'll be one saying, "Can the boys have a go?" But you celebrate a lot of Belgian heritage through your work on the radio. You're very respectful of your peers. Radio still important to you?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
You're still carrying on your show, and of course, welcome to Radio 1 as well.
Yes,
how's that
thank
experience?
You. Yeah, really nice. I'm still very happy with that, especially on a worldwide level. That's just something that's very, very unique. So I'm very happy with that. And then you have the weekly thing on Studio Brussel that I host now with my concept Context. So I became a resident there 7 years ago with the winning of the contest with Tomorrowland, and I've just been a regular guest ever since. And now I have my own show there. So I think it's a great way of just educating people of what techno music is all about. And it's also important to offer the opportunity to people to not necessarily, you don't have to go to a club if you just want to listen to good music. And to techno music, you can just, if you want to, radio offers that as well. And I think that's important.
Tomorrowland's, we'll just go back to Tomorrowland's because it was quite significant, you playing main stage. How do you see a time when techno will headline the main stage at Tomorrowland's? Do you think we'll ever get there?
Well, yeah, why not? But it's. I don't think that it's only going to be techno. I think, I mean, yeah, they had Carl Cox playing there last year as well on the main stage, but it's always a variety of artists playing there, either EDM or trap or techno, or. But yeah, who knows? But yeah, you told me in there as well that techno is becoming the new EDM, and I think that sounds horrible. But yeah, I mean, as long as techno in a way stays true to itself, I think that is something very important. I don't exactly know how you can show that or convert that onto the crowd. But yeah, I mean, techno is growing and it is getting bigger, but I hope that it will always keep on having this touch with the underground and not completely lose that touch.
Looking at time there, we're going to get hopefully a few questions from the audience. Just quickly on your music making, and how's that going with all the touring? What are the plans this year?
Tricky. Yeah, it's quite difficult to find time in the studio, and so yeah, I'm taking a couple of weekends off. Are
you one of these people that can actually get ideas going on the road, or?
No. I tried doing that, but my laptop, the screen is too small, and then the buttons, I need like a keyboard, and it's just very uncomfortable to do it. So yeah, that is challenging, but yeah, try to do this as much as I can. But okay. Yeah, definitely have to take some time off this year, and also especially next year to have some studio time.
Okay, and you're going to be playing Doubt Villa tomorrow night, which is looking forward to. Hopefully the rain will stand off.
Yeah.
What's the rest of your summer look like in terms of your visits to Ibiza?
I'm doing a cocoon party. I'm doing a pyramid party in Amnesia, and then I'm one of the Resistance residents. So yeah, I'll be here like quite a lot this summer, which is amazing. It's always fun to be here if the sun is shining, mostly. Yeah.
Not right now. Okay, Charlotte Witte, thank you very much.
Thank you.
There? Yeah. Have we got anybody who wants to ask any questions from the audience? Quickly, one down here.
Hello, Charlotte.
Hello.
I don't know if you don't have to answer this because it's a sensitive question, but how old are you? Do you mind telling us?
I'm 26. I'm from '92, so almost 27.
Okay, so you're the generation that we're trying to change this macho world comment. You said, Pete, it's a macho world. Do you feel as a female artist that you're in a macho world, or have we already changed it? Because some of the people that speak are 10 years older than you, like me. I don't speak, but, I just wonder now on the coming up generation, is it really a macho world? Do we still need to say that? You tell us, you're the one that's experiencing it.
I think it's definitely changing. When I started 10 years ago, that was much more the case, that I was also having a lot of difficulties being accepted in the techno scene, being a woman. I think now that is changing for the better. You also see lots more of female artists who are, stepping up and just being around and doing an amazing job and getting well respected by the scene in general. So I think it's definitely changing. There's still work to do, but not only necessarily for music. I mean, you have that in other jobs and in other scenes and as well. But yeah.
Good.
Cool. Thanks.
I'm happy.
Good question. Any others? Anybody else got a question? Shy. Obviously covered it all. Okay, no worries. Everyone wants to get up to Doubt Villa. Charlotte, one more time, thank you.
Thank you.